This week on the Grand Theory podcast.
And then like I worked for the Rebels, and my friends were coaches on that team, and then my dad became a coach on that team, and then my brother started playing for that team, and then I went to University of Manitoba, and like my dad's co-coach, his son played for that team, and we were friends.
Well, I'm gonna shop my shop.
1% better. Putting that work. 1% better.
Did not work. Did not work.
Nah, this one's okay. 1, 2, 3.
You said 1, 2, 3. Okay, go ahead.
Nigga.
Go ahead.
Nah, bro. We already said the episode, man. What's going on, bro?
I was trying to count this guy. This guy doesn't want to count.
Nah, bro.
Yo, this guy's. Oh, you guys notice every episode. This guy's setting me up for failure, huh?
How?
Bro, why you don't want me to succeed, bro? What did I do to you,
How am I setting you up for failure, man?
bro? You said we're gonna count. We're gonna clap on 3. I go. He count 1, 2, 3. He don't clap, bro. I thought you were supposed to be my friend, dog.
Nah, I am, bro. I don't want to roast. Not tonight. Not today. I was gonna roast you, but not today. I'm trying. As you guys can see,
Oh, he did a roast me. Actually, let me just keep it as it is right now.
I'm trying to be a changed man.
He's trying to be a changed man. Watch, by next episode, he changed back.
I might probably still roast you today, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. So,
Change is slow.
it's nature, man.
Change is slow, people.
Nah, man. It's
Change
nature.
is slow.
It's nature.
All right, y'all. So what's up, Ori, man? How was your week?
Man, it's going good though. I'm tired though.
Tired?
I'm tired, man. Trying to get back on that grind, that discipline grind.
I feel that.
Yeah.
We need we need that.
I said that for a reason,
I need
to
that.
get a reaction. That was
yes,
the goal.
Sir. Yes, sir.
What about you, my guy? How's it going?
It's good, man. It's good. Work is good.
That's good.
Getting a little distracted, so I gotta get better at that. But everything is a process, so one step at a time.
Yeah.
One step at a time. But first things first, what we always do, Ori.
Let's go give thanks to the big man up there,
Yes, sir. So we gotta give thanks to God first and foremost.
Always.
For waking us up, for giving us life, for allowing us to be here in the first place.
Yes, sir.
For our guests, for the people that are listening.
Yes, sir.
So first things first, we gotta thank God.
True. What else?
So our last episode was actually Gibson.
Yeah.
So our last episode was Gibson, and with Gibson, we went over a bunch of different topics.
Yes, sir.
We talked about his music, what made him actually start doing his music.
Yeah.
We talked about like back in the days when we actually worked together too, and just seeing the progression, because we all had dreams to do what he's doing now, and he's actually doing it. And it all took steps. It took discipline. He had to stay disciplined, which is something that was a big theme from that episode. And not only that, but staying true to yourself and staying true to the grind.
Yes, sir.
Right? So today, we got a special guest. It's going to be a good episode.
Yes,
so
sir.
Today, our guest is a woman that has a passion for health and an obsession for science. At a young age, she found herself in the kitchen where she was fascinated with nutrition and sports and understanding the human body and its processes.
Sure.
Now, this fascination led her to dedicate herself to her sport. And when the result from that dedication to her sport, at the young age of 16, she earned herself a starting spot in Team Canada for her sport. And it was at that time when she was exposed to the truths of being a female athlete at the highest level. Now, in her younger days here now and her professional career, professional work, it started when she was working at a youth sports internship for a local newspaper, which then was picked up by a bigger paper, which then led her into the roles of being in-house media for the Pennsylvania Panthers. I don't know if I said that right, but it's life. Anyways, so after that, it further propelled her into sponsorship coordinator and in-house media and directorship for the West Shore Rebels, which is this team in the CJFL. Now, after all that, she took all her passions and her focuses and she applied them now to university, all these passions. So she started university. She did her elementary school education at first because she loved her kids. But from that, she transitioned into the fields of kinesiology and nutritional science. And by her third year, she had started training some pro athletes. So I'm not going to say too much. But without further ado,
Let's go.
we are going to introduce our guest, the one and only Kate Duke.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you guys?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay.
That was a good intro, though.
It was a good intro.
Thank you.
I almost clapped. I realized it was about me.
She's like, What do we? Oh yeah, so just yourself. The mic is
Perfect.
Looking at me.
all right. What's? Oh, you didn't remember this time.
Oh, I did. I just.
no, you didn't. You
Listen.
didn't
I was
remember.
waiting for it to set it out in first.
Okay.
So, do you want to do it? Okay. Don't get scared. Don't want to chasing you
Don't
away.
get scared. No, that's just our dissection.
So
Our dissection.
So it's a tradition. We always do it for any guest we have on the show.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Jump into it. So,
Boom, dum, dum.
okay. Tell us where you are from originally and tell us a little bit about your childhood and growing up, what it was like.
Originally, I was born in West Sussex, England,
Mm-hmm.
and
English girl. Okay.
Yeah,
I like
and
that.
I immigrated here in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
So before that, I was like super English upbringing.
Like you had like the accent and everything, like strict accent.
yeah.
So you lost it?
Yeah, I did.
That sucks, though.
I did, which is hilarious. I was like, so you're dragging me here and my accent will stay. And it was like a year and a half went by and I was like full blown Canadian.
It's gone.
Damn.
I know. And like the rest of my family still has theirs. My
Really?
little brother was like 7 when we came here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Well, it's not. Just a family dinner. So it sucks.
Okay. So what was it like growing up? What some of your experiences was your most favorable or memorable times growing up in your childhood?
Well, we were a pretty big sport family. That's like how this all kind of started. My I had a big family on my dad's side, and he played competitive cricket, and my grandpa played competitive cricket, and my grandma did the lunches, and like my aunt was the treasurer. So like that was kind of, we were all at cricket 4 days a week, and like cricket games are like hours and hours long too.
True.
So it's so it's like that's basically our whole day. And then we were super close with my dad's side of the family before we came out here. So
Okay.
it was a lot of family time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. So you guys, cricket like back home in like the Caribbean, cricket is like, well, cricket is a
Lit.
national sport. Like it's
Yeah.
like the
It's
shit. It's
The
like,
littest.
it's like basketball, man.
For
like
real.
it's
I know.
they don't really, well, I guess they do it here, but it's not like
Sorry, not big.
it's not the same.
It's not the
man.
same,
The
no.
competition's not
Yeah,
really there
it's
at
probably-
all. Like it feels a lot like it's all beer league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So like Canada doesn't like
Not
excel at cricket like
Not that I know of. I know I think countries that really excel is New Zealand, I think
Australia.
England, yeah.
and then Pakistan. I think Pakistan or
West
Whoa,
India.
West
West
Indies,
Indies.
yo,
Yeah.
West Indies, whoa, West
Don't mix it up.
I know
Indies.
Yeah.
they're
Listen.
up there.
Listen,
Pakistan, West Indies, yeah,
Oh, up there.
hear
yeah.
that West Indies.
This guy, bro.
I remember I went to a cricket game. I saw Chris Gale. This guy is so strong, man. He hit the ball. It didn't even like he hit it out of the stadium into
Damn.
like.
Muscle memory.
You know how strong you have to be there?
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of like just science though. Like same with
True.
baseball, you don't have to hit the ball the hardest to
To
score a
to-
home run. Yeah, it's like really just
What's the science
The
behind
hip,
it?
I don't know. I heard it was the hips. Like baseball.
You gotta swing the
No,
hips.
I can't handle the hand wringing. I'm good at throwing stuff.
Okay, that's good.
So wait,
Yeah.
were you okay? I'll dive into that after. So you were fascinated with nutrition at like an early age, right?
I don't. Nutrition wasn't like food was a big part of my family. Like everything, it all revolved around food. My like grandma's a chef, and so it wasn't so much that I was like fascinated. I was just raised with real good nutrition and real sport-minded nutrition. So it wasn't. I didn't really acknowledge the importance of that until I had switched into switched from kinesiology into nutrition at university.
Yeah.
Was kind of the first time that I was like, oh, this is really like what you learn at home. And so it was kind of getting into the science with the body that made me like, I really love science. So like the just nutrition side of it was just like, yeah, it was just,
Sold. Okay.
yeah. And it was fun. And at that time too, when I was switching, like I was obviously having to kind of face like what the money side of it, right?
Yeah.
Like what career path I would pick that I could succeed in. And nutrition is kind of like a slept on thing a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know, especially with Instagram and all that stuff, like everybody had gone into fitness and whatever. And I'm like, you know, I love it, but my competition that's out there is already ingrained. And, you know, I do have contacts or whatever, but I'm an immigrant. I don't have like US contacts that, you know, could get me in as an intern, and word of mouth is like so important in this business. So yeah, the nutrition was just something I excelled at. And so something I just jumped onto, and I adapted my own lifestyle from what I learned, and I thrived, and here we are.
I like that because it's cool. Like, so do you think that obviously because of your upbringing that had a huge influence in leading you to that direction, like that path, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Especially too, like I came here when I was 15, so the diet changed too from like from England to North America. Like
It's a huge switch.
yeah, and you don't even really notice it. Like it's almost identical food sometimes, but still like within 6 months we'd all gone from like, you know, lean and whatever to like gaining weight and feeling like, you know what I mean? Like
sluggish
it
and
was
stuff like that.
a very obvious change. So yeah, it kind of, things are real black and white, and
That's true. Because actually, I think about it, like when you're back home, the food that like
Nah, bro, it was nature, bro.
I was so
Yeah,
strong,
right?
man. Like
Nature food, man.
yo.
Right?
A lot of foods here,
Real food.
a lot of foods in
Yeah.
this country are processed, like pre-processed, like manufactured. And
yeah,
no.
exactly. Preservatives, and like
Yeah.
to think that's not going to go in your body as a form of preservative,
yeah,
which is fact. You know what I mean? Like it's
Touché.
just whole food is just so much. It's just crazy how fast it was. So
yeah. How fast it happened without even noticing, right? Too.
yeah,
So
and yeah, the timing was. It was good.
yeah,
That was a good age to get that like enlightenment, you know.
that's true. Because most people don't like even at that early age, like I wasn't thinking about like my nutrition like that. I was just
Nah,
eating
bro.
whatever my mom cooked or whatever. I was like, yo,
eating it, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat that, right?
Yeah.
So that's good that you saw that nutrition part of it at an early age, right? I think that-
Hindsight, don't get me wrong, it was hindsight. Otherwise I wouldn't have gotten to the point where I had to look back, but
That's fair.
always hindsight. But my dad, because he's super athletic, my dad was able to like, you know, see it happening pretty quick. And
That's good though.
yeah.
Good role models.
That's
Man.
why I gotta be. That's why I gotta be athletic, bro. Can't slack. On the
You
gym
can't
like
slack.
that.
That's true.
Nah,
That's
bro.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
So you're saying, okay, so you came here at 15, and by 16, you were already in a starting spot on Team Canada.
Yeah, when I left, I was playing for my county already, so it was already super competitive. And to be perfectly honest, I believe it was just my dad knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody and got me a spot there, because I basically come here and I went from, you know, earning like a county spot, like a provincial spot, which was a big deal for me, to like not having a sport. Like the only way I could play slightly competitive was to play with grown men, and even that was beer league. So however my dad got me the opportunity, he did. And so I tried out, and the competition still wasn't.
Yeah.
No, because you don't, the government, like Team Canada doesn't pay for that stuff. Like, you know, we had to buy our own our own Team Canada apparel to wear to the games that we had to wear to games.
What?
Like they don't, yeah.
Really?
So when you're looking at it, it's got to be women that are able to travel, you know, are able to go
So you have to pay for your own
away.
travel too, or
They cover our travel.
Travel,
Yeah,
okay.
they cover our travel. But it's so just the people that, you know, it's the training and the base is in Toronto too. So like you'd have to be local, like you'd have to be able to take time off. You'd have to be able to do all that stuff. So yeah. So I got on it pretty easy, and then I didn't have to work that hard, and yeah, it propelled me pretty quick too, because the school system out here gives you like school credits for playing Team Canada. Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
What?
out of nowhere, I came to Canada, and I was like slacking and still number one, and it got to my head, and I injured myself. Ain't that the
injured
way
yourself?
she goes? Yeah.
How?
I tore my
How did you-
rotator cuff playing hockey because I was bored. I was like, okay,
Damn.
I'll pay the
Stick
most
on you.
competitive thing. I want to learn how to skate. Played hockey. My first cross check. Boom. It was my shoulder.
Yo,
Yeah.
I got respect for anybody that does hockey. I got mad respect because
God damn.
Yeah, for
I
you.
ain't gonna be on the ice, man. I
I
just
mean,
tell you,
if you're skating, is okay, but I
And
think
you're so covered up too. Like,
I guess so.
it's not bad.
it's not bad.
I don't do.
Yeah, I think
the ice.
you probably do good because you have that explosive power. So you probably will.
The stopping is a problem.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to stop. Just be slamming into the
My
boards.
whole first season, I'm pretty sure my whole first season, my dad was like, I never saw you stop.
It's just-
I literally skate as hard as I can, just do a lap to slow
A
down.
lap.
Like, I'm just like so scared to try and like go flying.
But your cardio is probably like
Top notch, though.
top notch.
Yeah, the lower body stuff on that is pretty real.
Cause it is. Does it? Like I heard that one of my friends, shout out to Tion, my cousin, that he like the guys who play hockey, right? They like even on the lines, like with Connor McDavid or whatever the other guy's name is, but say like Connor McDavid, they can't be on the line for that long. Like they only have like one
it's
period
super
or one burst or
explosive,
whatever like
yeah.
that. Super explosive because it's
Yeah,
so tiring.
yeah.
Like going back and forth. It's
And
so
yeah,
fast
that's
paced.
like the aerobic versus like whatever anaerobic.
Aerobic of it,
It's
yeah.
when your body, you just got to maximize those shifts when your body switches to a different energy source. That's like, the lines just go.
Go.
That's why it's so fun to watch hockey. So boring
fast-paced.
to watch cricket.
Nah, I heard this.
I like cricket, man. I like cricket.
I like playing cricket. I like.
It's
I
fun
like
though.
watching cricket.
Actually,
Nah,
yeah.
but it's
And on
boring.
a sunny day,
It
where
is
it's
boring. It's boring to
super
watch, but it's
chill
fun.
and
You know what?
you
It's
gotta be
fun to
lazy.
play, but it's boring to watch.
I mean,
Hockey is fun to watch, bro. Like
It's exhilarating.
it
to
is.
watch.
I'm gonna say something right now.
Okay.
I hope I don't get canceled. But unpopular opinion.
Come on.
I'm gonna say it, guys.
Go for it.
I would rather watch cricket than I would watch soccer.
Yeah, me too.
What's soccer? Oh, no,
Except-
sorry about that.
except
Sorry about
for,
that. I don't know
like-
you guys. Sorry.
No, no.
Like soccer? Like what kind of
Euro Cup
soccer?
is
Like-
different.
like-
So
Yeah.
it is. Okay.
The
so
Euro Cup was insane. I almost cried on.
Okay,
yeah,
see,
like
so-
those.
you came from England, please. I don't know what the heck is with soccer and football. Like,
Footy.
nah,
Whatever.
you call it football in in England. Yeah, football. Yeah.
Okay,
And then we
football.
call like this football American
American football, which is just trash in my opinion. Sorry.
football.
No, like the name, like the
Oh,
name.
okay. I was like, what?
No.
Sorry, sweating.
It's 2-on-1, man.
I won't try 2-on-1. I mean, I can handle it, bro. Trust me. But not today. Not
Football's
today.
everybody's sport.
That's true. And basketball. Shout out to basketball.
I like contact sport.
MMA.
I liked MMA before, like Conor McGregor. I like GSP, like
Yeah.
you know,
John
like
St.
I
Pierre,
like
yeah.
the mind and the
Yeah.
training, and I like looking
Yeah.
at something and
Is that
being
Khabib?
like, damn, you're like, that's something to attain. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not so much into the scrapping. And,
Do you like Khabib? Yeah, the guy that mauls people. You know him, yeah?
I know who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really like. I'll be honest. I think after I finished school,
Yeah.
suddenly like I see a bruise on someone, and I'm like, that's trauma.
Really?
So I'll be honest, I see like a fight now, and I'm like, oh, your body, like,
I feel that.
how are you
I
gonna
feel that.
heal that? So
feel
I
that.
don't.
Nah, man.
And back in the day, I used to be able to watch UFC and like love it
Easy.
and stuff, and like now I'm like,
Nah, man. Put them in chokes, man. Break their elbows. That's the goal.
This guy went to it. So, Kate, you said that you had an injury, right, where you tore your rotator cuff.
yeah.
So, kind of, what was your mindset with your injury? Like, how did you kind of deal with that injury after it happened?
For a hot minute, I maintained the invincible
Mm-hmm.
mindset, slacked off.
Yeah.
I'm invincible. I'm going to internally heal
Mm.
with my new North American diet.
But the processed
yeah.
food.
No, that's when I started my company, actually. It was like right around then. And I was already traveling a lot with like the newspaper and stuff.
Yeah.
I really slacked on my recovery. Like it was painful, like really painful. And I slacked on it pretty hard. So my mindset then was not what it like is now, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of too why I spend a lot of the time in the gym doing like post recovery stuff. Like I'll purposely build extra things there to give it more strength, even if I don't have the same, you know, range or whatever.
Yeah.
That was it. I messed up. I messed up.
But did that mess you up for like
A hot minute, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely did.
A year, 2 years, 3 years, if you remember.
It was probably about a year and a half that I was like really just like, well, this is, you know, it just was too much work. Everything else was going so well for me. And but I noticed pretty quick, or not, no, then I noticed, I forget what it was, but something made me click and be like, okay, my mental health is not what it was. Like, you know, even in my relationships, my bonds with people, like the things that I'm building now are on such like unknown ground. It's like I've been this person for so long, and now I've lost my identity. I'm in a different country. I don't know who, I don't even recognize my own voice because I have an accent now. Like, you know, like it was definitely, I am like part of it. I am glad that it happened because that time was the time that I kind of explored the place that I was, you know, I'm in a new country and blah, blah, blah. But it was aligning.
You said something there that it stuck out to me because I want to know like how you kind of dealt with it. Because you said that, I guess because like you're saying, from since you were young, right, you were playing lots of sports. That's part of your identity, being an athlete, right? So
my whole identity.
Your whole identity. So then when you got injured and you weren't able to play, you probably felt like you weren't an athlete anymore. Or was it like, because part of your
I'd
identity?
say the hindsight of it, again, it was like that whole, like, I don't want to say narcissistic, but like that whole, I'm already elevated above everybody. That took a while for me to notice that I wasn't, in fact. You know, like the decisions that I made stayed that way for that long because I believed I was secure at a level, you know, and then suddenly it all hits you and you're like, okay, these people, now that I'm meeting new people at school or I'm meeting new people wherever and they don't look at me like an athlete, that's when it's like, okay, my identity has changed to the people that perceive me, you know. Suddenly I work in sports and I'm no longer an athlete that's, you know. So that it all hit at that one time. It wasn't like during that time I still felt very much invincible because I was still signed to Team Canada. I was still, you know, I was still doing good. I was not thriving, but I was definitely surviving. And then
See, so when it hits you, right? How did you deal with it? The reason I'm asking you that is because I feel like even for me, like when I got injured in football, and like not being able to play football at the moment or anything like that in the capacity that I want to, right? Now I feel like, because my whole life I've been playing sports. Like that's what I know myself as, an athlete. So now like I'm not like on a team or like, you know, I don't know, like I'm like, man, that identity, because like someone's like, oh, yo, Akil, he's an athlete. Like everyone knows,
that's
you know.
your word.
But
that's
then
what you perceive.
That's
your
what you
worth
perceive
to
my
be,
as well. So now that I don't like, what are you? I don't know. Like I work. I don't know, right? And that's something that I like really, really struggle with. Even now, I'm still like working through it. Like obviously you get better with time, but like it's still something that I struggle with, right? So like I want to know how you kind of, when that hits you, how did you kind of deal with it, and even like get to the point that you are now?
I just went right back into athletics, immediately back into athletics. I was still able to ride off of my name for a hot minute. So And I made my name in other things by that time. I was working with, like, I was on the board of directors for a football team. I was like, my name was already out there. So I just jumped right back on it and got on the mindset of like, I am my own billboard. And like, I just jumped right on it. I decided I didn't want to do elementary teaching anymore. It was just too comfortable. And then like just decided to go to University of Manitoba, and that's where I went.
So in order for you to discover yourself a little, like get yourself back, you had to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. For people, yeah. Like, I think that, like, we evolve so much too that you get so safe in how people see you, or the opposite. You get so there's ghosts, whatever. Like, it could go one of each way. Like, you know, you're either kind of looked after a little bit more because your history was so resounding, or you can never thrive because you have ghosts that everybody around you knows about. Whatever it is, that's what your comfort zone is going to limit you to, is your past. So me stepping out into a new place where I was completely on my own, I got a new perception of how the world sees me, not based on I'm this because I had an injury, or I'm this because I immigrated and lost my family. I'm, as far as you can tell, a Canadian girl that is not an athlete right now. That's how I'm perceived. And that's, so you work. And I think that's kind of how, like, my path has taken me to so many different cities and stuff too, is because you do that and you work and you gain the perception and the respect of what you want. And then you realize you're tapped out on growth, and that's how they see you now. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. But, having a home base is starting to become a nicer thing. But yeah.
No, I actually like that what you said, because exploring different things, like in the podcast, like, okay, if I'm known as an athlete in football or basketball or whatever that, now coming into the podcast space, like I'm not known as any podcaster. Like I'm just starting, right? Yeah. So it gives you don't have to tie your old identity to that, right? Yeah. So I do like that a lot. How, like you said, when going into the position of the field that you're in as a woman, right? Heavily into athletics, heavily into sports. How is it different being a woman? Because you said you were exposed to the truths of being a female athlete. How is it different from being a male athlete? Because we're male athletes, right? So we have that perspective. But now coming from a female perspective.
Well, primarily the roof you can reach is dramatically lower as a female athlete. You can, the level of how high you can go with whether it's income or, like, the roof is pretty capped for women. It's very few sports you can even make a full-time living off of it, So that's primarily the biggest issue I find. And now that there's spots opening up in the professional fields that women are taking, like there's coaches now, there's refs, there's whatever, but at that time there really wasn't too much outside of media. There really kind of wasn't. So that's the reality check that it is you've got to pick a path, unless you have the ability to not really care about income, or you have a side hustle. But like I'm sure you have a background as athletics too. Like, you get out what you put in, like, as much as it's a full-time job when you're going to practice 5 days a week from 7 to 3 or whatever, there's the game film, there's the lifts, there's the proactive recovery, there's your mindset, like travel time, like how are you supposed to do all of that and then still go get a job, much less a job that will work with you with all of your sporadic times, like so it's difficult. You got to basically kind of pick. If you don't already have the stability, it's on you to build that stability for yourself, right? So the reality check was, I stay doing an athlete, but I need a career as well. So I gotta mix them together and find a way to mix it worse. Exactly. Find a way to get both. Which I kind of did.
That's so, like, from being also a female in that sport, because the market, there's like not much of a market, I guess, for you to like you said, to elevate yourself, to reach, right? You can only reach a certain, like, there's a ceiling, right? As opposed, I guess, to male athletes, they probably have they have more that they can break through, right? So also as a female though, in your profession and what you do, like I know like for females, like you're getting sexually objectified like 24/7, whether guys want to admit it or not, like they're so how do you deal with that? Like I want to know about that side of things.
I think there's a huge difference between general public and professional athletes to begin with. Like, it's when you're working with professionals as a professional, it's a lot easier to gain that kind of respect path a little bit easier, whereas like general public, like it's not really the same. It's your profession and it's theirs. So from day one, I kind of luckily was never put in the general public situation. But yeah, that's a hard question to answer.
Awesome. I feel
it's that. Yeah.
Cause what I know that even like, for example, like as a trainer, right? As a trainer, having like, female clients or having female clients, right? There's probably like for a female, for a guy, and for a guy, for a female, right? From a female perspective of things, I'm assuming like most guys that you're gonna train, like if you're saying, like we were talking earlier, right? You're saying like if all these people have the same skill set, right? And you're presented here now in this room, right? Like all these girls in the same skill set, how are you going to differentiate yourself to this group of me and Ori, right? And everyone is the same skill set, their same attractiveness, everything. So what's kind of there's a time where you gotta like
you
play
gotta
the
know
game
who your
or, like,
audience is.
exactly.
Like, we were saying that earlier, that if you had like 5 hungry cougars in front of you, and everybody's the same age, got the same skill set, can do exactly what they're asking for, how are you going to play into that? So for me, I find it a little bit easier, because in profession with profession, it's like real sees real, like it's easy. Like I already know that I'm not trying to be objectified like that necessarily, so it's a little easier for me to dodge it, because you naturally navigate more towards people who are taking this stuff seriously. Like I'm not really trying to sit here and like play into some game of like I went to school for this, like this is my business, like I'm like all cool to make friends and stuff, but if like this isn't seriously what you want, it takes a lot of work for me to like figure out like what your body's been beat up how, and what you need to be resilient to, and like especially too, because I work a lot in football, the amount of different positions there are, and like the body types in football are, that's why I said it's everybody's sport. Like you could be anybody and you can play football. Like a big old farm boy or a tall lean dude, like and even if not, like the coaching, like all the positions in football, like it's everybody's sport. But it just takes a lot of work to do what I'm doing, so I'm not really trying to sit there and play games anyways. And like you have to be so, as a woman, you just have to learn to be resilient, really is what it is. Like you have to learn how to put down people, and to be perfectly honest, my headphones are like my
best friend.
You can like
the
true.
Headphones, and even in going to the gym regular time, the headphones are everything. Like you don't know, I could be listening to a super emotional podcast, so I'll play that up. Like, bro, now's not the time. There's a murder going on back here. But that's the resilience and knowing like whose ears you want your words to even fall on, But you're right, you do have to somewhat play the game too, because in brutal honesty, I would not have had the success that I have if I wasn't, if I didn't appeal so much, I wouldn't have the success, whether it be by word of mouth or approachability. But there's a big difference between building your clientele and getting out there and like meeting people and all of that stuff to not. But I kind of was lucky too, like my sport my dad was involved in a lot of my sports growing up, and I was a real late developer, so I wasn't really like exposed to like, you know, anything really for a long time. And then when I started playing, or when I started working and with football and stuff, or even in hockey, the hockey coach that was the coach for the team I played or worked for, he was a cop with my dad. So I had someone protecting me there. And then like I worked for the Rebels, and my friends were coaches on that team, and then my dad became a coach on that team, and then my brother started playing for that team, and then, you know, I went to University of Manitoba, and like my dad's co-coach, his son played for that team, and we were friends from back home. And then my brother started playing university football. So I've kind of always like been able to not so much depend on them to protect me from it, but to use that as a I've most definitely been, you know, dropped that in there, like right off the bat. I'm going to be friendly and whatnot, but I'm going to drop it in there that my dad somehow
find a way to make
somehow
just so you know,
so you can't try shit.
Plus, you got it, like the trademarked unavailable is like every girl's go-to in this situation, I'm sure. Yeah. But from day one, it's always been, I'm unavailable. Yeah. Because to the people that respect you, they won't go further with it. The people that don't respect you, they'll come harder, and it's just easy to decipher. Like, I'm not really trying to waste my time on, you know.
Girls got to worry about so much more than like.
Nah, you don't want to.
No.
I feel so though.
And you can do everything, like you can do everything right to the point where you put your own personal life. Like I can count on one hand how many people have seen me drunk before, but I go out, I have fun, I dance, I'm at the bar, people see me at the bar, but it's very unlikely you've seen me drunk. Like you cannot give up at any time. Like, and that's kind of the difference between, I think, men and women in it a little bit.
Because you, like you're saying, because you're a personal billboard. So if whatever they,
exactly.
Like you're your brand, so whatever they see,
that's what they assume.
Is what they assume. Like, oh, yo, she's not serious or whatever like that, right? So you're always, but that's also like a lot of like, I feel like pressure, because you have to always be like on your game all the time, right? Yeah. It doesn't give you any time to like have an off day or something like that.
I mean, you can have an off day, just don't slack. Don't like, it's like that saying, don't put yourself in a situation where you don't want to be in. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because like, that's what I just think it is. Because like, even as a guy too, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're gonna mess yourself up. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. So, and I know male athletes have to deal with that. Yeah, harder than you know. Like, I'm definitely not taking away from them. You gotta act defensively, or you're gonna
especially when in this day and age where there's clout.
And the whole cancel culture, like, you know, all you gotta do is be accused of something, and you're.
Like even right now,
I'm not taking that away. Yeah.
Like even right now, that's like we want to go deeper into the conversations. We can't have it because.
Yeah, we can. What you talking about?
No, listen, you get what I mean. You don't know who's listening who's gonna get offended, and then this podcast is this. Like, honestly, like, even on YouTube, there's certain stuff you can't use because if you use it, YouTube can demonetize your video.
I know. This whole time I was like, I can't even say that word. I have to say the C word.
You see what I'm saying? So like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're living in a generation where like everyone finds like every little stuff you say that someone doesn't like finds it offensive.
Or in 10 years they'll find it offensive.
Literally.
Or you know, somehow we're supposed to be future enlightened
and I think that and in a way, I'm not gonna dive into it.
Yeah, I know. Even after I said that, I was like,
I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys have seen what's going on right now with
Vegas.
No. Dave Chappelle.
Oh
yeah. We won't dive in, but like that. But that's not alone. I'm I feel that. So it's like it's like taking that human interaction. You know what I mean? Like we can't have differences. Like we can still have differences. We can have differences, but like the key thing is still that respect. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
I think that's why I like contact sports more. Yeah, it's like you're not like all sensitive and stuff.
Nah, man, you gotta be tough.
I'm walking away after.
Yeah. Because even like there's times in the game when you're going at it with somebody, like you hit them and then you're like, yo,
Oh my God, but off the field,
and then
you're
off the
going
field,
to
like,
jail.
I'm like, oh, hey, man, it's all good.
Don't even look him in the eye. Like, don't settle your disputes. Don't be animalistic.
Nothing like that. You're just good.
That's true.
Smooth
I may use you as an example, like your injury, like the guy who hit you. Some guys would have, especially with the effect that happened, bro. In your situation, some guys would actually have taken it more differently. You know what I mean? Sensitive guys. Let's be real.
This is like edge of seating.
No, though.
No, but you know what though?
It's true. Let's give.
I was pissed when he.
Wait, you're pissed, boy.
I was pissed.
But you see, the thing is, like, you still didn't make any. You didn't do. You know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a game, right? But within the game, there's some people that don't like. There's some people that are playing with different intentions, right? But like, there's people, bro. There's people out there. Like, I remember one time, there's a guy. He stomped. Like, there was a huddle, and this guy like took his cleat and he like stomped on this guy's calf, right? Like, bro, these guys some guys do anything to win, right?
Yeah.
So you still gotta win with sportsmanship and stuff too, right? Like, even
I used to be on the hockey bench quite a bit during games, and they really are sent out there.
Yeah,
they got one job, and they don't even dawdle. It's like on the ice, gone, like, you know,
piece you up.
But even like fighting's just a part of that sport. But you're right, like the dirty stuff, like that's, if you like, it's crazy what you can spot in a game if you just pick like 3 players to watch that are like constantly at plays. The stuff that you see when you're not focused on the ball, like
punching people through their face mask.
Yeah, and the tackles that aren't on screen, or the hits that aren't on or aren't by the player or whatever. Like, oof.
That's true though.
It gets real.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw like you said, UFC used to watch it. They released the fight between Khabib and McGregor. So when I was watching it again, there was like a lot of cheat going on, and McGregor was actually like holding the fence, stuff like that. It was doing illegal knees. Yeah. By the time of watching it, you don't really see it.
Yeah.
But then watching it so fast,
exactly. And you're watching the play, like you're watching something.
That's true. But that's also why I think like mindset is really big, right? Because like even in despite of all that stuff, like a guy can hit you and you can be like, oh, you can retaliate and get mad and you can go after him, but like it's like the mindset. Is that gonna help you win? Like, what if you go and retaliate, you get a penalty 20 yards back or some shit like that, and then your team is suffering because of something that you did because you couldn't control your emotions or whatever like that, right?
And you see guys get cut for that kind of stuff too, like
all the time.
Yeah, controlling your emotions is a big thing. I think some dude in like college football right now, NCAA, just got caught for like for losing his temper on the sidelines. That's not the first time either.
Like because that can affect the team, right? Like that can affect the whole team. Sure. One person, like, you know, so
one penalty,
one penalty, like especially like game winning
hockey, it's one guy down for 2+ minutes. Like you're literally playing with a fifth less of your like on ice team basking. Football is yardage. It's one drive. You might not score on now. Like
that's nice.
Yeah.
Especially something like that. Third down, and you get a penalty, and then you might as well kick the ball after that.
So I have a question even on something, because you just dived on the mentality. So you said at the time of your injury, when you had the injury, you were a little bit off, and you decided to do that switch. So what would you say? Like the mindset you had at the time and the mindset you have right now, like what are the differences you have? Like you noticed? Like
during my injury versus now?
During your injury and you right now.
It feels like my blood is moving again.
Okay.
You know, I felt like I just feel healthier. I see clearer, I feel clearer, like I'm really conscious of everything. Like you know, I know why I feel better now. I know what makes me feel good and what doesn't make me feel good. And so in that moment, like I said, I didn't realize it's hindsight. You didn't realize like how unproductive you are, how crappy you felt after you slept, what dehydration really feels like, you know, and then it's the changes after the fact, like suddenly realizing now, like, I feel pretty good. I could outrun a zombie, like, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel.
And then what would you say were like the steps you took to get that mind? Like, because one thing I think I've noticed is a lot of people, when they're trying to achieve goals, whatever, the biggest thing holding them is the mindset they have. So like what steps or what actionable steps did you take to make that switch?
like flashing back on like growing up or whatever, I am very blessed to have had that mindset of discipline and whatnot. Like, I have to admit, it was a little bit easier to tap in if you've been raised with that discipline or whatnot. So for me, I'd already known, you know, it takes 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks for your body to start thriving in a routine. So that first 2 weeks, I did everything and whatever. It's honestly, the shame drove me. The shame of, you know, somebody being shocked that I played Team Canada or whatever the situation was at that time. That's kind of what propelled me. And then it was like, okay, all I got to do is do everything right for 2 to 3 weeks. And I literally just did that. And then out of nowhere, I really was thriving. Science is science.
So you used, just like as a guy. So just like guys, I'm using an example. It's kind of related. It's just like if a guy gets a heartbreak and then he used that anger and pushes himself towards his goals.
I broke my own damn heart.
Self-inflicted pain.
Totally.
So question, because we were talking about this earlier, right?
Yeah.
So is it like, okay, using that emotion, whether it be shame, it be anger, fear, or whatever that, to then propel you to start, right? But then after you start, right, you have to change that emotion, or can you still keep that emotion to keep pushing you through?
Do you want me to give an
Or does
answer?
it have to be, no,
Okay,
it's
let
the
it
guess,
give
man.
let it give an answer first. I'll follow up with that.
Still to this day, that still drives me. Like the doing everything I can to not feel like that is the reason that I stay in the gym an hour and a half longer. Beautiful. Because somebody might be in there that saw me and I don't want to embarrass myself. If I just get to the gym, it would be humiliating for me to walk out before everybody else that was in here when I first got here hasn't left. So whether that means I force myself to stretch a little bit longer or I force myself to whatever, it's like that the fear of feeling like that again is.
So, but you know something though,
I'm pre-workout.
There's a difference though, because you know why? It's just like, bro. So when I remember having that conversation, when I was saying it, I'm not saying don't use it. The difference is you gotta switch it, because then it's like, for example, falling back to the same analogy of the girl. The girl broke your heart, you got mad. You're like, you know what? Damn, I'm gonna hit the gym. Hit the gym, you get big. That girl that broke your heart came back and she's like, oh, I miss you. I'm just an example. I miss you, whatever. At that time, that anger is not there anymore, because like, yo, at the end of the day, she came back. You know what I mean? So you have to have, like, I'm not saying don't use it. Don't get me wrong, bro. It's good, but you have to have the ability to switch it.
What you mean that anger is not there?
No. So I use myself. Let me use myself as an example. You know what happened? I think you know what happened when
guys with these no context, like,
okay, no context. Okay,
give her the context.
I'll break it down. I'll try and give it as raw as possible, because you know. So I got in a situationship, whatever, ended bad, and the girl dipped. And
was it? Never mind.
Nah, come on.
Go ahead.
Come on. I'm giving it raw as possible, man. Come on.
Go ahead.
Nah, she was.
You understanding what he's saying, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want more. Okay.
Nah, you want me to break and whatever. And like, yo, I literally had to ask myself the core question. Like, to walk to the mirror and I looked at myself like, yo, like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And I was like, nah, man, I gotta hit the gym consistently and put in that work. I kept going. I started seeing the result. But the reason why I had to switch that energy is because I'm not doing it for myself anymore. I'm doing it for that girl.
I feel you.
And the reality of it is, if you're just doing it for that person over time, you're gonna get tired.
Yeah.
See, I understand that, but that's a difference, right? Because if someone is, even though it's a shame, right?
Yeah.
They have that shame.
Disrupting the flow of the show.
I thought it was going to be me, so I'm glad.
So,
no, you're talking about the shame, yeah.
Yeah, so even that shame, right? That shame is even though it's from somebody else telling you like, oh, you're on Team Canada or whatever like that, that shame is still from you. Like, that's from that you have, right?
Tristan.
You know what I'm saying? That's something that you have. It's not because of the shame. Like, even though she's still pushing her, you're still pushing yourself right now, right? From that shame, it's because that shame that's motivating you. It's not that anyone said, hey, you don't play on Team Canada anymore right now. It's not that, but it's
He's
still
using the
driving
memory.
her.
He's in the memory.
That
So-
shame is my baseline.
Exactly.
Like, let's be honest. I'll go to the gym and like for the 1 or 2 times I genuinely am like need a push, like because that stuff's addictive. Like you know, you go every day, you get addicted to feeling good every day, and it goes kind of the other way that you get more scared to leave. You know, because you might lose what you have going already. You get so addicted to being the best or to being whatever. So but on those few off days, my absolute baseline was that shame. Like if I got there and the pre-workout didn't work, or you know, my Jason Derulo didn't work, or like whatever the heck it was, like my baseline is like, you can't embarrass yourself in front of these people. Like, so whatever it takes, but definitely not like what you said. It went from you doing something out of more like revenge for not revenge, but you know what I mean, for to prove someone
something
wrong.
The point, so just that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it transitioned more to me being like, this is my worth, and that's what it is, and I'm gonna defend that.
But that's what I'm saying.
You know?
But that's still, but like, okay, that's still she's still using that shame from like, hey, it's still motivated. It's still, she's still self-motivated.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like she's getting motivated from other people because they're not saying anything. She's still self-motivated and saying like, yo, I don't want these people to think that.
So I think you just didn't get my point exactly.
I feel like you guys said the exact same thing.
Yeah,
self-motivation is what you turned it into before. Your motivation wasn't self. It was this chip.
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
I have a saying which I always tell you, which is like, whatever, like if somebody pisses me off or somebody thinks I can't do something, I use that anger to push myself and then I switch it.
Yeah.
Cause just like when I started working out, like I was eating broccoli, the regular stuff. I was like, oh bro, you're eating broccoli and whatever. And I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, I stay disciplined to it. I'm still disciplined to it. And then boom, the results started coming. I'm like, oh shit, bro, like what's going on? But my point is, use the anger as motivation. I'm all for that, man, because it's needed. But you have to get to a point where you switch it. Because when you don't switch it, then it's not healthy anymore.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Or you're not getting the full healthy things out of it. Because the mentality is off.
Okay, I think we're saying the same thing.
We're saying the same stuff.
Because
totally we're saying the same stuff. Good.
Okay.
Good.
Totally are.
So,
wow. I didn't expect that. That's good. I didn't expect that.
I'll take that. So, question is, so far in your life, what would you say is the biggest struggle or obstacle that you have faced? And how have you overcome it? And what have you learned from it? And it could be more than one thing that you learned from it.
Yeah, like we all have our personal trials and tribulations. And let's be honest, those are like the biggest things. But as far as like, I find that question hard because I feel every major obstacle in my life is like such a privileged obstacle. You know, like I can sit here and be like, I was torn away from my family at like my boob coming in age, and I was my emotions, but I immigrated. I immigrated to a different country and whatever. And like, even if we sit here and talk about like equality and in my passion, I still would never trade being a woman for a man. And like, I wouldn't trade being a woman for anything. Like, so really it's like, I think the biggest obstacles are like probably yourself. And I think that's like what I'm really still navigating now as I like kind of grow up and whatever too, is like, especially the byproduct of what you have to do to be resilient as a woman in my field. Like, you have to be so resilient. The guards you have to put up just because you cannot slip up one time. Like, even if you, like I said, you do everything right, it's still one lie or one rumor away from taking it all away from you. So you can do everything right and still know. So you set up these guards, these boundaries, these rules for yourself. And when your business or what you do most of the day is like close to your heart or whatever, I kind of found out that those things are not necessarily benefiting me in my personal life as well. So those are kind of the biggest obstacles now, is like, you know, finding that balance between complete resilience and like having my guards up and not trusting anybody. Like now I'm so self-sustaining to a fault almost, because I don't trust anybody. And let's be honest, like I work with the best of the players, you know, like you gotta be resilient. So see,
I like what you said, right? Because you said, and just from you saying that, I can see that it's a mindset. Just from saying that, I can see that it's a mindset thing, right? Because not everyone has the mindset to say like, oh, you know what? I wouldn't trade any of my struggles or obstacles that I've faced, right? Or that I've gone through. And that's like the whole point of this podcast. Like the whole point of this podcast is like, yo, diving into the struggles and the obstacles that people face, because those are the things that you really grow from. Like if your life is all rosy and good, like you don't experience anything to know. So when the first time adversity or an obstacle comes, you're gonna break because you never experienced it. It's like this example is like there's this tree, right? And it grows in perfect conditions. There's no wind in there, there's no like heavy rain, there's no hail, no nothing, right? Perfect conditions, everything. If you put that outside and it has to experience all this wind and rain and snow and all that stuff, how's it gonna survive if it grew up in perfect conditions, nothing ever happened to it, right? So like those obstacles and those struggles that you go through are key. And you even said like the biggest obstacle that I'm realizing too for myself is like myself. Is like, and I think the thing is like a lot of people don't fully know themselves, right? So like because you don't know yourself, it's hard to like be able to control yourself or stop yourself in certain things because you don't actually know yourself that well. And like that's something that I'm realizing more and more and more. I'm like, I don't even know, like I don't really know myself.
See, that's another blessing in like the immigration at my age, is I was forced to know myself. Like I grew up so fast. I graduated school at a propelled speed that I ventured real far from home and never stopped from 17. So like I do know myself pretty good, which is why it's like which is a bonus, but it's like super alarming. Like, you know, looking now and being like, oh, I believe in Disney, but like, don't talk to anybody. Like, don't let anybody know. Like, don't tell anybody. Like, protect that heart, girl. It's
that's cool though.
It's a little
Disney ain't real.
Bro.
Disney.
I meant that if I said it, bro. I always say it on this podcast.
Disney ain't real.
I'm saying Santa's not real. Have you guys seen Polar Express?
I have seen Polar Express.
The general concept of that is like life.
But
he ain't gonna come unless you truly believe. But are you willing to risk your children not getting gifts on Christmas morning to full-heartedly believe in Santa?
Do we want to get into? I checked the battery. That's why I had to check the battery, because I was gonna ask her a question when she said something about she would never trade being a woman for a man. I was gonna ask why. That's why I checked that's why I stood up to go check the battery.
My sir.
No, listen.
Jump in.
Do you want to jump
for days?
Do you want to jump in?
Jump in.
Viewers' discretion advised.
No viewers' discussion.
No, listen. This is a fairly. This conversation we're gonna have, I'm guaranteed there's gonna be disagreement. I can guarantee that there's gonna be it's going to be a respectful conversation. Viewers, like I said, viewers' discretion advice. Do you actually want? Do you want to get into this conversation?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you? Unless you're like,
she ain't scared.
Women suck. Like, what?
Okay.
No.
No.
Exactly.
No.
This is a good discussion.
No. So, because you said something that really stood out to me. You said, women, like, you would never trade being a woman for a man. Why? Because I've seen and heard people say men have it easy, a lot.
Men have it different.
Okay.
Men have it different, but I just think there's like, I get to have babies. Things happen to my body that's like exciting and different, and like I genuinely sometimes like, aside from the fact that, you know, being a male athlete, you don't need to take time off when you're like reproducing, you know, aside from that downfall of the athlete side of stuff, I feel bad for you guys. Like, you grow into your manhood, into your body, and all you can really do is go to the gym, or your physique, or you know, you can only really change your physique and your mindset. But me, I can like grow a baby and like my boobs will change, and like it's just, I'm like capable of all of these things, and I love what I'm capable of. Plus, like, there is the side too of like, I can't imagine what it would be like to be a man with insecurities, or a man that's skinny, or like that's not. Because as a woman, you know, I didn't develop anything until I was like 18. Like I was like a 12-year-old girl for forever. Yeah. But at that time, I could do crazy things with my makeup, or I could change my hair color, or you know, I could.
Guy, you ugly. You Oh,
yes.
I mean, if as a guy you're ugly,
Get
you
your
gotta
money
you
up.
gotta you gotta work on yourself like a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I was having this conversation with was it LaShawn? Yeah. When we
Oh yeah.
yeah, when we were talking about like skinny guys, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's be real. I keep trying. Good to finally we have a female
A
here.
female perspective.
Please, let's be honest right now.
Yes.
Do you? This is just okay. Maybe this might put your purpose out there.
Man, don't
A
be
skinny guy and a skinny guy and a decently jacked guy. What do you prefer?
Jagged.
Okay, good.
Because
So
I need to be protected, and I need to.
you see what I was saying?
You know, like,
Okay, another question I have: a guy that has a good understanding of self-defense and can't defend himself. What do you prefer?
self-defense.
Good. Last one: a guy that's financially stable and a guy that's What do you prefer?
Financially stable.
Of course.
Ask the same question you asked Aline.
Oh, shoot.
Do you remember? I remember it though.
You remember it?
I remember it.
I
Though.
can't remember word for it. Go for it. Go ahead.
This might be.
Would you rather?
I'll let you ask the question.
Okay.
'Cause-
So, would you rather be with a guy that has all the qualities that you want? He has.
but before we ask the question, what are the qualities you want in a man?
Alpha stability, protection.
Okay.
Like that's,
What the definition of alpha is financial.
But protection,
if the world
protection,
falls apart, you
and
gotta be
everything,
able
yeah.
to protect your family
Yeah.
and provide
And
and
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
And whatever that is, like that, who knows? We just like had half the world end for like 2 years there.
Yeah.
T word was president. Like anything could happen.
Sure. Still,
So like when it comes down to it, like I just
you want a man that can.
whether it's in
girls
this
wanna feel
society and
secure,
you gotta
man,
go
safe.
get your work and your income and that's
Yeah.
how you provide, or we live in the woods and you gotta go beat up a bear.
Yeah. I
Whatever.
like that. I like that answer.
Yeah.
The fucking
You don't want
answer
to
is good.
secure.
No, go. I got the question. I just wanted to just know out there. That's fine.
So my question for you is: say your man has all the qualities that you want, but but he's broke. But so would you rather that or a rich guy, right? That is financially secure and stable, but he doesn't have all the qualities that you like.
The first option.
So
you
don't mind if he's not financially stable,
So you-
but he has those qualities.
Well, I don't. Well, like loop back to the Disney thing. so like to me, there's like I
one's
don't.
perfect.
I feel like the building thing. Like I prefer to it not be like you're building stuff together. You know, like to sit there and to me, like that's such a weird question to ask because for me to be attracted to you, you have to be real driven. You have to be like disciplined. You have to be whatever. So
Ambition.
in what scenario would I be attracted to a person that's completely broke? They're either in school, they're in training, or like I would never be attracted to a lazy person. Okay. So the no money thing would have a cause and effect. That's something. And if you have those qualities to be able to build those things, like I'm all down for teamwork. Like I'd rather build than be this hot commodity that comes in later. And
See, I like your answer because you have you don't have the mindset of I want a finished product. You're still open to the idea of building with somebody, I guess.
Oh yeah, I would definitely prefer that too.
Okay, now end of conversation. Okay.
And I don't know if that's. I'm sure that there's like people that would look at that like, and say that might be like some form of something, but I just don't. I don't know. I think that like it's important to see someone grow, and it's important. Like, how can you love somebody where you just see this
You came at the end.
finished product? Like,
yeah.
what do you even love them for?
That's true.
know?
That's true.
Plus,
That's true.
Yeah, stability. You got to build the roots and stuff.
I like
and
that answer. No, I actually really do love that. I love that answer because, like, honestly, that's what most guys want, actually. Because it takes years before, like, unless if you're like a anomaly, or I used the wrong word. Unless if you're an exception to the rule. But most, I use the wrong.